And that is correct. Who needs to step up? Well, I guess I do, so I can start the show on time. It's orange blue today. Cecil Lammey flying solo, Andrew Mason on assignment. And that means Wednesday, I get to do a brain dump. So here I am to talk to you about the Denver Broncos. I just came back from the facility, just watched practice, just have an idea of who needs to and who will step up for this Broncos team. Christmas Eve night, New England Patriots coming into town. We're going to be breaking down that game for you as the week goes on. But OBT is a BFD, and I am here for you in our spacious and beautiful new studios. Can't wait for you to see pretty much everything on this program. It's orange blue today, and who needs to step up? Marvin Mims. Mims has got to. We've already talked jeudy thing to death. It needs to be Marvin Mims to elevate his game to help out Russell Wilson. Speaking of elevate, great quarterbacks, well-paid quarterbacks are the type that can elevate the rest of their teammates. Russell Wilson simply doesn't do that. You could say he's working with Courtland Sutton, who's a number 2, and jeudy, who's like a number 4 or whatever, and Marvin Mims, who's a rookie. I don't care. Look at what CJ Stroud is doing. Now, Nico Collins is their version of Courtland Sutton, in my opinion. When you had Tank Dell when he was healthy and available, but that was a rookie, explosive rookie. I believe, Matthew, you can check me if I'm wrong, Tank was a second rounder like Mims was. But either way, you look at this situation, I'm not here to blame the talent. That's low-hanging fruit. That's weak sauce, bro. All right? When it's the talent around Russell Wilson. I saw Peyton Manning elevate anybody that was around him. And am I comparing Russell Wilson to Peyton Manning? Yeah. Why? Because when you're well paid like that, you need to be like Peyton Manning. You need to elevate the rest of your team. And God bless anyone that ever blocked for Peyton Manning. But I'll speak specifically on Indy because now that I'm thinking about it, most of those linemen are friends of mine. I don't want to insult anybody. But the linemen that were in front of Peyton Manning, they weren't Hall of Famers. Not all of them. But what would Peyton Manning do? He would get rid of the ball quickly and on time, and he would self-sack if somebody got by, insert player's name here. That's what happened with Peyton Manning. He would elevate the rest of his teams. He's making a guy like Benny Fowler making plays, right? He loved Bubba Caldwell. Bubba Caldwell out there making plays. You know what I mean? So elevate. Yeah, elevate. That's what you're supposed to do if you're Russell Wilson, and you need help from guys like a Marvin Mims. So who needs to step up? We know that Russ needs to play better, but in order to do that, it would be nice if Marvin Mims got open on more than just go routes. Again, I'll point to reception perception from Yahoo Sports, and you just look at that and you go, okay, he's not getting open on anything that's not a go route. Watching film and studying tape, you see what could work for Marvin Mims, and I believe that slants and that's out routes. He's much like jeudy in that manner, or as I've compared him to in previous sessions, he's Emmanuel Sanders. I see Emmanuel Sanders. The difference is Sanders had that dog in him. Now, it took 4 years for Sanders to get going. Again, when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, never had a 100-yard game, never had a 1,000-yard season. I believe I had like a 99-yard game, literally a 99-yard game. So he was close, but that was one game in 4 years. So, will you be patient with Marvin Mims? In 4 years, he could be gone as a free agent. They need him now to do more now for this team and for his quarterback, Russell Wilson. It's low-hanging fruit to blame it all on Russ, and it's low-hanging fruit to blame it all on the skill position players, because that's part of the conversation, but that's also simplifying it and taking a stand that it's either for Russ or against Russ. This is a complete breakdown of the passing game, especially against the Lions. An absolute, complete, and utter failure from Sean Payton and his game plan and from the players in their execution. Jeudy had some flashes. Courtland Sutton's always going to do his thing, but you needed more, and you need more of these players to step up as the Broncos now push for the postseason. Don't overlook New England. What is it, 10 one-score games this year? Sometimes you're on the other side of that. Minnesota last year, right? And I think they were 8-0 in one-score games. And, Minnesota was the darling of the playoffs, and they get beat down in the postseason. The Patriots, on the other hand, in all their close games, and they're not good, mind you, the New England Patriots are not good, but they're also well coached, and they're in most games. Most games. This game, they don't have to be. In this game, they shouldn't be. You should beat the teams that you should beat, and you should beat them handily. I don't want to see the Broncos struggle to beat the New England Patriots. I want to see them clown hammer that team. And not just because it'd be fun to see Bill Belichick be all the Grinch who stole your Christmas. Well, steal it back from him. Bring it back. That's what I would love to see the Broncos do, but it would need and require other players to step up in that fashion. It's too belligerent to just say, it's all on Russ. Okay, Russell Wilson is not Sean Payton's quarterback. He's not the type of quarterback that Sean Payton wants. He's not the type of quarterback that can thrive in Sean Payton's precision and timing-based offense. We've already seen it. And if you don't know that, I don't want to break that news to you. I had a buddy of mine, shout out Blake. He texted me yesterday. He's like, you were telling some hard truths last night on Denver Sports Tonight when I was talking about Russell Wilson's not his guy. Yeah, yeah, I was. And I don't even dislike Russell Wilson. I actually like Russell Wilson, and he's just not Sean Payton's guy. There's nothing, I don't know, hater-ish about that. Seek the truth and speak the truth, and that's what it is with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. And the yelling stuff, Sean Payton yelled at him in the Chargers game. The only reason nobody talks about that is because the cameras didn't catch it. But I've talked to people that were watching the sidelines and reporters that were at the game, and they're like, yeah, he was yelling at Russ in the Chargers game, and that was a win. Okay, so like this whole yelling thing, can we get over that, please? Football coaches yell at their players. Oh, my God. Now, I know it's 2023, and everyone's sensitive about everything, but like football's a little backwards on some things, and I'm not making excuses for it, but you're going to get your ass chewed in football. You either take it or you don't. I talked to Mike McGlinchey today, and Mike McGlinchey highlighted when asked a couple of questions about that, about Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. He's like, yeah, it's football. Or anyone that's losing their mind over that, like it's just football. That's what happens. Russell Wilson is tough. He's mentally tough, and he's physically tough. He's out there taking a beating because the offensive line isn't protecting him, and because the play calls that Sean Payton made against Detroit were so wrong-headed. I think that's the best way to describe it. Like, it was just wrong-headed with Sean Payton's plan of, I'm going to put my quarterback in a spot where he's dropping 5 steps, no 7-step drops. Nobody really does that anymore. But, like, making your dropbacks that deep, knowing the pressure the Lions would bring. Where are your drop plays? Where are your screen passes? I know the chat room is fired up today, and they'll say, I said this on the postgame show, and I synced it. I synced it in the chat room. Oh, that Russell Wilson's terrible at screen passes. Well, yeah, but there's tight end screens and wide receiver screens and bubble screens. And like, there's more than just the standard running back out the backfield, pass rusher in my face, let him through, dump it over him or dump it around him. Like, there are multiple ways to utilize a screen pass, draw plays, Texas routes. Have I even seen a Texas route this year? No. Why? Because Russell Wilson doesn't throw to the middle of the field. Texas, we call it a ZN, whatever, 6-man football. I couldn't even remember the plays, but I was like, we called it a ZN. It's a Texas route, most NFL teams, where the running back goes out, linebacker, ISO, it's a choice route. Stokely always talking about choice route. So you go out, you get that linebacker to commit to you, and then you cut back inside to the middle of the field. And if Russ hits 5, hits that back step, takes a hitch, and then throws it right there, it's going to be open 10 times out of 10. It's an easy chain mover, yet we don't see it from this team. You didn't see it in the Lions. That is an absolute failure of Sean Payton. Now, is it Sean Payton not trusting Russell Wilson? Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. 1,000%. For me, personally, I would call the plays and make Russ run the plays. When you call a play and you're Sean Payton, you're essentially calling it for 2 reasons. You're calling it because you think it'll work, and you're calling it to keep Russell Wilson out of the way of Russell Wilson. That's the bottom line. That's the main thing. And in a way, I don't necessarily feel bad for Sean Payton. He's well paid, but like you should know you got to cover for your quarterback and you have to keep him out of his own head. And so when you call a choice route or you call a bubble screen, you're essentially telling Russ, do what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it. Stay away from the chaos. There will be moments that Russell Wilson can operate in chaos, and he still can't. He can't really run anymore as much as he could. He's not as much of a threat. If he immediately takes off to run, that's when he can threaten a defense with his legs. He's not the type of guy to mess around. Oh, everything's broken down. Now I'm going to run and make a play. Defenders are too fast for him, and he's too slow. He's old, right? He's getting up there at the quarterback position. But what you do as a play caller is you set it up. Russ, you're going to do exactly this. I've often talked about he reads half the field. So high, low, and run. High, low, dump off. So you have 2 or 3 options in the passing game. You tell them to run almost immediately once you hit that back step. You get the back step, you get a hitch, you climb the pocket, you move forward. Don't go out the back door of the pocket. Climb the pocket, go forward, create that passing lane, and then hit those guys who you've schemed open, whether that's Courtland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy, who should be a slant god, or your screen passes, right? Introducing screens, utilizing screens more often than they do now, which is pretty much not enough. And against a team like Detroit, you could have done that. Against New England, it'll be different. We'll break down this entire game for you as the week goes on. Of course, Thursday and Friday's show with Andrew Mason. But for me personally, today's program is about who needs to step up offensively. That's where the problems are mostly. Defensively, they've got problems. We've spent yesterday's show going over the defensive problems, and we did a 36-minute show. I told Mace before the show, I was like, let's go about 20 minutes. We went twice that. Why? There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems defensively. Offensively is the focus because you have to have somebody step up. And I'm not talking about somebody who can't. All right? That's what I wanted to emphasize today. I'm not up here saying Adam Troutman could do more. I did like him coming out of Dayton, and he had 14 touchdowns his final season in college. I considered him a sleeper. I consider him a guy at the Senior Bowl. I was watching one of these small school talents. I saw Quinn Miners, right? I saw Quinn Miners Senior Bowl. So once in a while, hell, I believe I even saw Fred Jackson at the Senior Bowl. So once in a while, you'll see these small school Division III, Division II guys that get that invite. They're very special talents if they make it to Mobile, playing a Division II or Division III level. So Troutman comes in from Dayton. I see him against the nation's best seniors. I was impressed, had him as a sleeper. Sean Payton gave up like half his draft when he was with New Orleans to move up and go get Adam Troutman. He brings him here immediately when he takes over for the Denver Broncos. And we've seen enough. I've talked to Adam from, the moment he was here to the training camp, talked to him at the Senior Bowl. We know what he is now. When he came out of college, I thought maybe he could develop and be more of that receiving weapon. Again, 14 touchdowns his final season. I could give a damn if it's Division III or community college or whatever. 14 touchdowns in a single season at tight end, that's pretty damn special. It's never translated. Never. I don't even think he has 14 combined in his entire pro career. Could be wrong. Matthew, double check me if you'd like. But you look at this situation, I'm not saying Adam Troutman needs to do more. Chris Manhertz needs to do more. No, none of those guys can. All right? Nobody can. The players that you're looking to do more, and I know what you're thinking. Wait a second, Cease. You got to run the ball. You guys got to run. Broncos got to run, and that means more Samaje Perine. If Perine hadn't had the knee problem, I don't think he's quite himself. This is just me. I'm not telling you what I've observed at practice. So please don't at me, bro. And please don't take my credential away right here. Key to the building, everybody. I don't think Perine is right. I think he's out there toughing it out and playing. He doesn't look like himself. Javonte doesn't look like himself. Jaleel, they don't trust in pass protection. You're not going to go to Dwayne Washington. You're not going to go to Tyler Beatty. You're just not. Unless you have to, unless you're forced to. And again, it leads me to why wasn't George Payton in grabbing running backs? Why didn't you keep Latavius Murray? Why did you let all these things happen when this was the problem? But for people saying, well, Samaje Perine should step up. Samaje Perine's not quite himself. He's a little bit banged up, my opinion. And, he has been on the injury report with the knee injury earlier this year. But those things, even if you're not on the injury report, it's not like it's totally fine. My knee is totally healed now. I'm ready to go. Like Fred Durst, ready to go. But like, no, I don't think Samaje Perine's right. I damn sure know Javonte Williams isn't right and doesn't look right. And I also know they do not trust Jaleel McLaughlin whatsoever, not even a little bit in pass protection. So, you know, if he can play more, I guess, but when he's on the field, he's a liability and protecting your quarterback who's already under enough pressure sometimes. And most of the time, the pressure Russell Wilson is put on is by himself. That's the problem. Russ is a chaos quarterback. He thrives in chaos. He almost looks for chaos. It's like the running back that's really good at breaking tackles, but won't look for the open lane. I've talked to Terrell Davis about this a million times. Oh, my dear friend, Terrell Davis. I love that guy. I love hanging out with him any chance I get. And TD and I have always had this debate. And I'm a moron, so I'm going to debate with Terrell Davis about the running back position. But I like, you know, learning more and asking questions and, yeah, being a little bit of a, you know, contrarian at times. But we've talked about footwork or vision. You know, what's more important for a back? Like, you can see it, that's fine. If you don't have the feet, you're not going to get there. And that's my opinion. You know, footwork is paramount, basically. TD, it's more about vision. Well, there are backs like a Javonte Williams who at times just see that contact and they just want to go to the contact. Russell Wilson doesn't read the full field, has probably never read the full field this entire season for the Broncos. And again, just going back and looking at the coach's tape, you can see how it's he's reading half the field, everybody. I mean, he doesn't move his head, basically. And there's no nuance. There's no like, I'm going to hold the safety and then now I'm going over here because I know these guys are be open. One, doesn't have enough time. Two, there's an internal clock in his head. Always got to slow down when you say that. So this internal clock is going off for Russell Wilson, which is good for a quarterback to have. But I think Wilson's a little bit rattled, like his winding is a little bit off, right? And it's not Swiss gears. But like his clock will go off so that now he's looking for chaos because he can thrive in chaos, or at least he could, and he was much better at it as a younger player. He's not that same player. That's not his game now. He's not a timing quarterback. He's not a precision quarterback. Sean Payton wants a back foot. It's gone. Sean Payton wants I'm going to hold the safety with my gaze, and then I'm going to hit this guy on an out route. I'm going to hit the guy on a corner route. You know, sail concepts. Easy, right? It's a cover 2 beater. It's a cover 3 beater. Like sail concepts, seam routes, run 4 seams, see what you get, right? 4 vertical routes, see who comes open. Russ isn't doing these things. He doesn't read the whole field because he's looking for trouble, because he can thrive in some trouble. But when you look for trouble all the time, you're going to get in trouble and you're going to cause trouble for your team. You're going to make your offensive line look bad. That's why out of all the sacks this year, I believe 75% is on Russell Wilson. Per Pro Football Focus, you'd have to trust PFF. And listen, they've got former pros. They don't know the line call, okay? I hate having this PFF conversation because it's always the same. They're a bunch of nerds. They don't know. Well, they're also former NFL players, a lot of them. There is a future head coach that used to work for PFF. It's probably going to be a head coach someday. Shout out Zach Robinson, Chatfield Chargers, baby. But like I have a lot of friends that work for PFF. I don't take them as the gospel, but I also just don't, you know, oh yeah, it's just a throwaway. There's a bunch of nerds talking football. Get it out of here. I don't do that. I listen and I go, huh, that's interesting. Well, what's interesting with the Broncos is they need someone to step up. Who could that be? I'm putting it squarely on Marvin Mims. I'm putting it squarely on that young man because he needs to do more. This team needs him to do more. Jerry Jeudy's going to be Jerry Jeudy. Good, bad, whatever. Courtland Sutton's going to do so much, but teams are going to know. If you're Bill Belichick, who is famous at taking one thing away from you, he's going to take one thing away. He's going to take your favorite. He's going to take your whoopee. He's going to take your favorite thing away from you, and then you have to beat him another way. That's Courtland Sutton. They can't really run the ball that effectively because Javonte's not himself. Samaje's not himself. They don't trust Jaleel. That's not a concern. Courtland Sutton's the only concern. You take Courtland Sutton away, Jerry Jeudy, who we already have talked about to death, but it's Marvin Mims and his inability to get open on anything other than a go route. He has to become a better route runner, and he needs to now, right? Turning my car into Swiss cheese. Feel like the cop on Die Hard, right? From what? Family Ties? Is that right? Anyway, it's like, yeah, now. Need backup now. Damn it, now. That team needs Marvin Mims to not screw around and be like, oh, you're a rookie. Wait till next year. No, Marvin Mims has to do it now. He has to be a better route runner now. And I believe, just in watching Marvin, I just believe he's tipping his route. Most of pro defenders, this isn't college. All right. Most pro defenders are going to watch your shoulders, taught to watch your shoulders and your hip, and they're going to see you lean because you're going to cut, and you don't even know you're leaning. You want to do, and it's a high standard, but I'm going to hold Marvin Mims to a high standard because it's the NFL. Emmanuel Sanders, Marvin Harrison, those type of receivers where they're just going to run right at you. It looks the same. I don't see any sort of tip and dip, hip, rip, whatever. Like, I don't see anything different. And then bam, it's an in-cutting route, or bam, it's out-cutting route, or bam, it's a go route. Like, Marvin Mims needs to work on his route running, study the best, and play like the best. Speed it, whatever. Baby, everybody's fast in this league. Marvin Mims is really fast. I don't care. Like, awesome. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the party, pal. Guess who's watching Die Hard during this Christmas season? It is a Christmas movie, too. Anyway, is that a wrap for today's show? Matthew, are we done? Does that sound good? That sounds good. Matthew's laughing at me, so I will wrap it up for today. It's orange and blue today, and let's go Broncos, man. Let's win out. You got 3 winnable games. I want them to win. I want them to win convincingly, not just kind of mess around and kind of, hey, they beat the Patriots, but barely, and thank God for Will Lutz. I don't even want Will Lutz involved in this game. I want you to trounce the Patriots, the Chargers, forget the Raiders. Another word I could use there. Forget the Raiders. Starts with the same letter. Forget the Raiders in the last week of the season. Win out. See where the playoff chips land for you and your team. But Russell Wilson needs help. And he needs help from Marvin Mims. He's got to do it. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he will. But that would greatly benefit the Denver Broncos as they strive to win 3 in a row. That is a wrap. We're growing our YouTube channel, so please help us do that by like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And if you've commented in the chat room, is this side, that side? If you've commented in the chat room, comment down below. It helps the YouTube algorithm. It puts our videos in front of more people because people are searching for Denver Broncos news and Denver Broncos sports and Denver sports and Orange and Blue Today. And I noticed that Cecil Lammey was one of our most searched terms. So thank you, I guess, even if you're hate watching, which can be a thing, I guess. Don't hate me. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Anyway, love you all. Appreciate you all. Thanks to Matthew. He's the man in the box. I'm Cecil Lammey saying thanks. Stay tuned and stay frosty.